Bladen tried to feed out to Leach, blocked off by Peter Mahovlich, and Bladen is dumped hard by a stiff shoulder check thrown by Pete Mahovlich. Brisbane draws it back to Joe Watson. Around the near side for Dornhofer. Checking him tightly is Pierre Bouchard, and he got a little overzealous down there, and Dornhofer takes exception to it.
I didn't think there was any question Sunday night that Dornhofer was a target, and it appears obvious now that the guy who's supposed to be the planter in front of the net is getting worked over.
The same thing that they're doing there, Pierre Bouchard, for no reason, and if it can intimidate him, that's the name of the game, I guess.
Flyers in the midst of a line change. Roberts can't find the handle. Pete Mahovlich just rolls right over Joe Watson. The Flyers have killed off that short-handed situation. Gainey dumps it into the left wing corner. Hard check by Jarvis on Bladen. Clark battles Gainey for it, and up come the sticks, and the whistle of Dave Newell blows, and we've got a traffic jam in the near corner to our left.
All right, now we've still got them all jammed into our lower left just below us. All the players save the two goaltenders.
Here's Selesky on the left wing across the Montreal line to Dave Schultz. Schultz cuts behind his screen, goes left wing corner, takes a bump, and the Flyers are taking bumps every time they come close to setting up in the Montreal zone. Puck back at center ice. Bladen at the red line. Arches one high. Dryden slides out, gloves it, sends it up to Cornway right wing to Lemaire. Broken up by a sweep check by Jim Watson. Dave Schultz charged by Lapointe. Clark goes in the left wing corner. Goes behind the net. Short side stuffer is blocked by Dryden. Cleared the length of the ice, and we have a high-sticking penalty being called against Montreal.
I think the key play there is in past games and past years, whenever he was belted, Dave would retaliate. That time he kept his discipline, and it cost Lapointe.
Of Wayne Stevenson, he sets up Barber to the side of the net, who carries it behind the net. Going in for checking, and Gainey just charges right into Barber.
As Lambert took a good run at Bladen. Now it's the Roadrunner, Cornway, carrying it past the center ice.
On that last shift, Gary Dornhofer took a thumping check from Yvonne Cornway, much the smaller, but don't let him fool you. Ted Lindsay, he's strong.
He's really big up in that upper body. There it is right there, and knocking the little man knocks the giant down.
He's checked off by the pressure of Clark to Leach. Open side pass by Murray, and we've got Robinson hurt at center ice as he appeared to be hit by an accidental high stick from Terry Murray, and he just stood at center ice and lifted his head up, and he's still shaking it, getting the cobwebs out.
He's bleeding, and his teammate just told him about it, Gainey, and he's heading for the first aid room.
Against Kelly with Dornhofer and Bridgman. Kelly into the Canadian zone. It's deflected by Savard, and that just sends it in slow enough to put Bridgman offside.
Bob Kelly throwing his weight around again, as only Bob Kelly can do, and it draws a few oohs and ahs from this capacity forum crowd.
Right here's the check here by Savard as he takes Kelly in. And looked like Kelly was going to go after Savard, but Larry Robinson moved in there between them and became the separator.
And he's a big separator.
Jimmy Watson at center, at the Canadian line, trying to get past Tremblay, going right on in, a shot, the save, the rebound poked away by Robinson, and Riseborough up on the left wing as Dornhofer sits on Dryden in the Canadian net. Riseborough over the line, Tremblay breaks for the net, but Stevenson gets the stick out on that centering pass and drives it up into the seats on the near side.
Well, both goaltenders take a trip to the ice, both ends of the ice.
He fires it wildly down the near side, deep into the Canadian zone. Lapointe picks it up, swings around the far net, buried on a good check by Kelly. Puck kept in by good enough, but right back to Lapointe. He can't get past Dornhofer, and we're going to get a penalty against Lapointe for holding Dornhofer's stick. Kelly runs into Lapointe, Riseborough in there, Murray Wilson in there, and extra high, and let's see what the call is. Everybody's in there now.
Riseborough was the perpetrator as he came up high on Dornhofer. Dorney was just protecting himself from a high stick in the face. And it appeared as though the initial call by referee Dave Newell. Now here we go with Dupont and Tremblay. This is the first battle of this series. Tremblay has his right hand free, but Dupont gets his free and throws in a couple of good shots. And now they're swinging wildly with both throwing the big right hand bombs.
And Dupont's getting the better of it.
And now the jersey over the head of Tremblay. He cannot defend himself, and very quickly And very wisely, Neil Armstrong grabbing a hold of DuPont, Claude Bichard getting a hold of Tremblay. And DuPont better cool it, and with the help of Dornhofer and Bridgman, they've cooled him down a bit at center ice.
All this excitement started where Kelly took Lapointe into the corner, and Lapointe come out of the corner, put the hook on to Dornhofer, pulled him down, and then grabbed his stick, and Newell had called a 2-minute penalty on that. We're having a little bit of trouble here getting DuPont calmed down. His players want him to get into that bench. They don't want a penalty bench. They don't want him to get a game misconduct because he's too valuable to the club.
With 1:05 left in the penalty. Now good enough up as out comes Lemaire. Takes the puck away, and we've got Jacques Lemaire in a clean break. 2-0. Lemaire going right in, and he scores!
Well, that's the type of a break that the Flyers could ill afford, and it's the type of break that Montreal will kill you with. Jacques Lemaire, a veteran playoff performer, and of all the Canadiens in total games played in playoff competition, it's Jacques Lemaire who leads the pack with 137. Encounters with Pete Mahavlich, who now is on his way over to converse with Bowman, and he'll be flanked by, picked up by Lafleur, broken up by Schultz. Schultz overskates it, but Bladen picks it up. Now broken up by Lafleur across the Flyers line. One man back. The drive, and he scores. 2-0 Montreal.
Second period shorthanded goal by Lemaire unassisted, and a third period goal by Lafleur unassisted as Riseborough really buried Mel Bridgman in the corner on the last play.
Broken up, and here comes Bridgman. He's at center ice. Lead pass on the right wing for Dornhofer. Dornhofer is smothered by Larry Robinson, and we've got a penalty coming up on Robinson for boarding.
I can't argue with that. The check would have been clean had it been not so ferocious against the boards, and that's what boarding is. Robinson for boarding picks up his 8th penalty minutes in the playoffs. The Canadiens' 5th penalty of 9 called by referee Dave Newell. The Flyers get their 4th power play opportunity, and boy, was he ever crushed.
There's a look at it right there, and as much as the boarding, I think you could give it to him for the elbow, because he had that right elbow as Dornhofer, number 12, moving up along the boards. And there it goes, although that elbow was down low. It's just that he's such a tall guy.
You got to lift your elbows up a little higher to get away from it. Bladen to the left wing corner. Schultz goes for it with Lapointe. Schultz has it. Trying to set up. Schultz, left face-off circle, closing, scores! Dave Schultz for a case of tasty cake. There goes the shutout, and the Flyers are within 1. 2:25 left in regulation time. Time of the Hammers' goal, which is his second of the playoffs, comes at 17:35 of the third period. Now, what this means to the Flyers is simply this, and very importantly, the Flyers now within 1 can, if necessary, pull their goaltender and work toward that tying goal, which would send it into overtime. Good wrist shot by Dave Schultz from the left face-off circle. Beats Dryden to the far side, and it's 2-1 Montreal. Now intercepted by Clark. He's across the line. Goes right wing for Leach. Leach puts it around to the right wing corner for Bridgman. Picked up by Dornhofer. Dornhofer to Clark in the left wing corner. To Barber. Blocked by Dryden. Loose puck. Leach. Blocked off by Savard. Clark trying to dig it loose, and it's tied up as time runs out. Tied up behind the Montreal net. As the Flyers visibly frustrated. Bobby Clark leaning on his stick. And, of course, everyone is going to second-guess this one. So we're going to leave it to you to do your own second-guessing. The Flyers, a little too late. Too little, too late. Ken Dryden has stopped the Flyers in the final couple of minutes after Dave Schultz had gotten the proximate goal at 17:35, which turned out to be the lone goal of tonight's game for the Flyers.